Motorola just did something unexpected. Instead of making a cheaper, compromised foldable to compete on price, they went all in and built a no-excuses flagship. And after getting hands-on with the new Motorola Razr Fold at MWC 2026, it's clear this isn't a first attempt device. It's a direct shot at the very top. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. It really helps me keep bringing you more tech breakdowns like this one. For years, book-style foldables have had two big weaknesses: performance compromises and camera compromises. You either get flagship power with average cameras or good cameras with trade-offs somewhere else. Going into this, those were the big question marks around the Razr Fold. Would Motorola cut corners, or would this be a serious premium contender? It turns out they addressed exactly those pain points. Let's start with the design. If you followed Motorola, you know they love textures and Pantone-inspired finishes. This time, though, they played it safe. The Razr Fold comes in Pantone blackened blue and Pantone lily white. Basically, black and white, but done with refinement. The blackened blue has subtle, deep blue tones with diamond-shaped etchings on the back that feel incredibly grippy. The lily white version has a silky, almost fabric-like texture that feels surprisingly premium in hand. When opened, the phone is just 4.6 millimeters thin. Folded, it's 9.9 millimeters. It weighs 244 grams, which is slightly heavier than the Galaxy Z Fold 7, but the weight balance feels right. And here's something interesting. It supports the Moto Pen Ultra. You'll need a case to carry the stylus, but the fact that stylus support exists at all gives it a productivity edge. Now the hardware is where things get serious. The cover display is a 21:9 POLED panel with a 165 Hz refresh rate. That's smoother than most flagships right now. It's protected by Corning Gorilla Glass Ceramic 3, a newer formula specifically designed to survive violent drops. There was even a live demo unit being dropped repeatedly onto a sandpaper-covered surface from waist height. Painful to watch, but it survived with only micro scratches and no deep damage. Open it up, and you get an almost square 8 by 7.2 inner display with a 120 Hz refresh rate and a claimed peak brightness of 6,200 nits. That's an eye-watering number, though we'll need proper testing to verify it. The crease? Honestly, it's so shallow that it barely registered during hands-on time. At this point, foldable creases are expected, but this one is subtle enough that you stop noticing it. Performance is where Motorola made its boldest statement. Inside, you get the Qualcomm Snapdragon Elite Gen 5, paired with 16 gigabytes of LPPDR5X RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. No lower-tier chip, no 12-gigabyte compromise, just full flagship specs. In today's memory market, 16 gigabytes is aggressive. It signals confidence and possibly a high price tag. The battery is equally ambitious at 6,000 milliamps. For a foldable this thin, that's impressive on paper. Real-world endurance we'll need to test, but capacity-wise, Motorola didn't hold back. And now, the cameras, the second big worry for most foldables. This is not a slap-on camera system. The main sensor is a 50-megapixel Sony LYT-228 with an f1.6 aperture. The telephoto is a 3x lens using the LYT-600 sensor, and there's another 50-megapixel ultra-wide. On paper, that's a serious triple camera setup. In quick comparisons against the Vivo X300 Pro, which also uses the LYT-228, the results were surprisingly competitive. Shot for shot, they traded blows. No obvious weakness, no obvious shortcut. That's a big deal, because cameras have historically been the Achilles heel of many foldables. Now here's the catch: pricing and availability. Motorola says the Razr Fold is coming in the coming months, with pricing to be revealed closer to launch. That's both exciting and slightly nerve-wracking. With these specs, this isn't shaping up to be a budget foldable. It feels like Motorola is positioning it directly against Samsung's premium lineup, especially the Galaxy Z Fold series. And that's what makes this device important. Foldables have reached a point where hardware is no longer experimental. They're thinner, brighter, faster, and more durable. But what's been missing is competition at the very top. If Motorola prices this aggressively, the Razr Fold could push the entire premium foldable market forward. Personally, what stands out most is the lack of compromise. Flagship processor, 16 gigabytes RAM, triple 50-megapixel cameras, big battery, durable glass, stylus support. Motorola didn't aim low, they aimed high. Now, the only real question is whether the market is ready for another premium foldable contender. Because if the pricing makes sense, this might be the year where foldables stop feeling like niche devices and start feeling like the future. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. See you in the next video. Take care.